So let's move on. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our next speaker. He has 35 years of diversified experience in consulting, innovation, and senior management, telecommunication and finance sector. Mr. Khuram Rahat has proven the track record of business strategies and development. So please welcome our next speaker, Mr. Khuram Rahat on stage. Welcome, sir.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. I would like to really thank the organizers for giving me the opportunity of standing here and communicating with you. Any guesses? You can see I'm wearing this mic which makes me mobile. Any guesses why I requested this? Anyone? Yes, on the face of it. But the real reason was कि जब यहाँ खड़े होके लोग present कर रहे थे तो अमरीन साहिबा बिल्कुल यहाँ खड़ी हुई थी. बिल्कुल ऐसे लग रहा था कि जी किसी वो time के point of view से. तो now I know कि अगर if I'm overrunning time, I can run over to the other side so that she cannot catch me. So anyway, ji, before I start my presentation, since I've been working in the field of AI, I've been involved with AI and use of AI. In fact, I have a company which is using AI for human development. So कुछ सवालात ज़फ़र साहब से पूछे गए थे और उनमें से एक सवाल था कि will AI replace the jobs of hundreds and millions of people? तो उसमें मैं सिर्फ I would like to just say कि this has been a myth and a fear not only now but in the past. जब computerization आई लोगों का ख्याल था कि जी लोगों की नौकरियां ख़त्म हो जाएंगी और अब तो सारी चीज़ें computerize हो जाएंगी. What we saw was the fact that there were even more jobs created, more productivity created. Same is the scenario with AI. AI is more advanced form of AI, of computing. और जो मेरा perspective है, जो मैं different talks में भी कहता हूँ, वो ये है कि जी there will be some roles which will become obsolete, और a lot of that relates to content writing. जैसे ज़फ़र साहब ने कहा जी presentation उन्होंने AI को कवर बना दी. But then there are lot more new roles and avenues which are opening up already, and we are seeing that. So it's the most important thing is not to fear technology, but to embrace it, pivot yourself, learn how to harness that technology, and that's what our company is doing, using AI to actually see how we can identify in an objective manner the skill gaps people have in different areas, and then use the recommendation engine to see how they can be upskilled. So that's a short answer to the question which related to AI. So coming back to my topic, which relates to the fact that how can we use data for wealth. How many of you have heard this phrase, data is the new oil? Can I see show of hands? How many of you have heard this? Quite a few of you have heard this phrase. Now I slightly disagree, because as far as oil is concerned, it is combustible. Whereas as far as data is concerned, it is more kind of renewable energy. To me, in the modern day, data is like air we breathe. Just like we as human beings cannot survive without air and oxygen. Oxygen is the processed form which our lungs, our heart processes. So that's how data is important for this survival of organizations. And to me, it will be a miracle if there is an organization which says, I don't use data, or I don't take advantage of data. So that's the importance of data and analytics in today's world. So the most important thing is when we talk about data, it's again, as I said, air. So data, just like air, is composed of a lot of different kind of things, including pollution. So what is important is that you're able to use the data, process it to develop insights. And it is the insights which help us in taking those strategic decisions. And if you ask me, who is the most beneficiary, which area can take advantage and is taking advantage of data and insights, to me it is marketing. Because what really has happened is that over the years, we have moved from a scenario where marketing would be dependent on using market research of, for example, if I talk about Pakistan, the likes of Nielsen, etc., would gather data of 10 or 15,000, through surveys of people primarily from KLI, Karachi, Lahore, Islamabad, and then try to develop some insights and sell those stories to the marketing people. By the way, the marketing people would always very happily use those because it gave credibility to whatever they were trying to do, because they will say, whatever marketing strategy, even if it's failing, what can we do? It is backed by the market research. So we have moved from those 10,000 or 15,000 surveys which would be updated every 1 or 2 every year by 1 or 2,000 more fresh surveys. The telcos have a lot of data. I had the privilege of establishing the first data monetization arm with Telenor with the name of BizMine, and we were using 46 million subscribers' information to develop better understanding, and the data was only as old as yesterday. So we were able to actually put our hand on the pulse of the individuals and understand what their requirements were, how the requirements were changing. And just as Zafar Saab ne abhi baat ki, you are able to actually reach out and talk to an individual. So we talk about creating micro segments, thousands of micro segments, millions of micro segments, and the micro segment can be one person. So that's where the importance of data comes in. And somehow the other okay. So when we talk about data, what is happening is the volumes are growing, and while an organization says that I can use data, because of internet, the world has become a global village. Someone sitting in one small village can have access to the global market. So is true for others, which means while I can take advantage of the data, others can also. So there is a competitive pressure which comes in. The other important aspect is that with the advancement of technologies and social media and internet, the attention span of people have actually shrunk drastically. So my early days, we would see few ads either in the newspaper or television, and we'll probably see 4 or 5 ads during the day. Today, if you're on internet, probably you'll see 4 or 5 ads in 10 or 15 minutes. So the retention becomes a challenge, and that's where the most important thing is to ensure that you are able to reach your customers. First of all, you are able to develop understanding about their behaviors, are able to develop product and services, and then you are able to reach out to the customer at the right time. And that's the key in terms of what we can do. So, why data matters in marketing? We have talked about it. Zafar Saab talked about it. What is really happening is that when individuals are online, they are looking at sifting through different websites, they're clicking, They're looking at a product, they may look at one product or two product, may move to another web page, but every click matters. Every click matters, and the challenge is how to ensure that when there are hundreds and thousands or millions of clicks happening on your website, how to manage that, how to sift through that overload of data and be able to identify what is relevant information. Because we talk about data, the key is not all data is relevant. The key is to be able to identify what data is relevant and then use that data to develop further understanding. So organizations which are now moving in data-driven marketing have seen very high ROIs. And we now see a lot of organizations. I've actually been part of the advisory of a lot of boards now where the CEO says, if you're coming to the meeting, you have to have whatever you have to say, it has to be backed by data. If you don't have data, don't come to the meeting or don't talk. So those are the kind of attitudes which are developing, and we should encourage those. So we talk about this journey, how organizations want to take that journey. We talk about what kind of wealth we can create. So it all has to fall in a systematic manner. It cannot be chaotic. So you have to you have to collect the data, you have to be able to process, identify what is meaningful data. You have to be able to interpret and develop insights. And once you're able to develop insights, again, at the end of the day, you should be able to develop insights to understand what your customer wants, understand what product improvement or service improvements you need to make, understand what are the right channels which are working, understand what are the right marketing messages which are working, and then how you're going to deliver your message. And the most important thing is you are able to actually loop back, measure the effectiveness, and start the journey again. So to me, it's like an infinite loop of improvement. But the core to whatever I'm saying is still the human part, because whatever data I generate, whatever AI-based algos I may generate, at the end of the day, it is you who is the most important person, because at the end of the day, you have to take decisions. Yes, we are talking about AI, we are talking about the fact that AI is in future, it can make those decisions itself. So at least मेरी generation को अभी worry नहीं करने की ज़रूरत, we are relevant. आगे चल के youngsters के लिए हम देखते हैं क्या होता है. But again, I would still say it is still the human brain is much more complex, and it is how we are able to manage information and manage data, which is very relevant. So, when we talk about, I see her coming and I'm moving on this side. So when we talk about analytics and marketing, there are three key pillars. As I said, you have to understand the audience. You have to understand what they need. I still remember the first day when I went to IBA, my first class was that of marketing. And our course was, the course book was Philip Kotler, and this morning I saw someone taking autograph of Almas Saab on Kotler, Philip Kotler 6.0, and it was kind of nostalgic. So the first thing which I learned was the difference between sales and marketing, the definition. And I still believe it is still very relevant, that definition. And it's the difference between what I have and I want to convince people to buy it, versus what I understand are the needs and requirements of the individuals, and I am able to solve their challenge, solve their problem, and the sales is a natural outcome. To me, that is the crux of marketing. And if there is, and I happen to work with organization where I see the sales guys, unfortunately, still, although they say they're using next best offer, sophisticated systems, but then the sales head says, यार उसको रहने दो, ये वाली खास तौर पे टेलीकॉम इंडस्ट्री में ये वाली दो ऑफर्स को टॉप पे भेजो. And I always say कि, you know, then why invest in these $1 million system which will provide you with that data and analytics. So it's always important at the end of the day who's using what. So understanding the audience, understanding how you can optimize your performance, and using it for the most important thing, the strategic force. How you plan. However, how you plan, things have changed. When I started my career 35, 36 years ago, we would make 5-year plans. Today, any dynamic organization which can say I made a 5-year plan and it is 4 years and it is still valid, I can assure you, you are not in a dynamic industry or you are a monopoly. Because the way technology is moving, the way innovation is happening, you can still have your 5-year plans. But trust me, unless you learn to pivot, those 5-year plans are of no value. So you have to continuously update those plans. So we were talking about micro segments and we were talking about understanding audience. One very interesting thing is, a lot of time people talk about profiling customers. I want to profile someone as a foodie. I want to profile someone who's a media streamer. I want to profile someone who's fashion savvy or fashionista, as we call. What we did at Telenor when I was doing this data monetization was, we identified that in each individual has multiple personalities or multiple profiles. So I'll give you my example. I am someone who loves cricket. So I'm a cricket fan. At the same time, आपको मेरी अच्छी सेहत बता रही होगी, I love food. At the same time, I'm someone who listens to music and online music. So as far as my personality is concerned, I have different personas. And to be able to understand what different personas each individual has rather than stereotyping into one or two is very important, because a lot of time you are doing cross-selling or cross-marketing. So I'll give you an example that based on my profile, when you know there is PSL matches happening, then someone can, understanding I'm a foodie also, so I could be made an offer that, enjoy today's match between Karachi and Lahore while having, let's say, a bucket full of KFC. I'm not marketing for KFC, but just as an example. So, it's understanding that I'm a cricket lover and I'm a foodie. So you are reaching out to me, and then understanding I may be in looking at something else. So understanding how to reach out to me. So that's why it's very important. आप आ गई हैं, मैं दूर जा रहा हूँ. Just kidding. I'm just finishing. ठीक है? So इसी वजह से हम कहते हैं कि we should start looking at using data. We should not get driven. लोग कहते हैं you should be data driven. मैं कहता हूँ कि जी हमें डेटा को ड्राइव करना चाहिए. We should not be driven by data. The difference is, I should not be influenced by data and just do what is the obvious. Rather, I should use it and then be able to decipher it in a different way. The traditional data analytics was about कि जी I have known questions मेरी सेल्स कैसे हुई, मैं कैसे सेल्स बढ़ा सकता हूँ, ये है. And then I would go and ask my analytics people to run queries and bring me the responses. The real value of data is, जैसे मैं कहता हूँ कि जी आप एक बच्चे को एक बीच पे भेज दें या सैंडबॉक्स में दे दें और उसे कहें जाओ and create something and see what makes sense. So driving data is where you look at data, you start analyzing data, you have to be creative. आपके अंदर का एक आर्टिस्ट होना चाहिए जो उसमें हिडन पैटर्न्स को आइडेंटिफाई कर सके. एंड दैट्स वेयर इफ यू आर एबल टू डू दैट, दैट्स वेयर यू मास्टर थिंग्स. कितने 2 मिनट 1 मिनट, टाइम इज ओवर. सो टाइम इज ओवर. सो आई एम जस्ट स्किपिंग द यूज केस बिकॉज मैंने इसकी बात कर ली है. आई हैव टॉक्ड अबाउट द लूप. वन वेरी important thing is you have to build data-driven marketing culture. Encourage data literacy across teams, not just the marketing team. Everyone in the organization should be data-driven, should understand the value. You have to align analytics and marketing team. मुझसे पूछा जाता है, I do consulting. अच्छा या बुरा, people think I am someone who is the data guy in this country. So मुझे लोग कहते हैं जी हम अपने analytics और business team है और हम एनालिटिक्स को कहाँ रखें, CIO के पास रखें. मैं कहता हूँ कि योर एनालिटिक्स गाइज इफ दे आर सिटिंग इन द IT डिपार्टमेंट, इट्स अ वेस्ट ऑफ टाइम. आइडियली दे शुड बी सिटिंग विद योर मार्केटिंग टीम. दे शुड बी ड्रिवन बाय योर मार्केटिंग एंड अदर डिपार्टमेंट्स. एंड यू शुड ऑल्सो रिवॉर्ड insights driven decisions because at the end of the day you have to encourage people. So basically, sorry, मेरा आधा टाइम तो इस क्लिकर से खेलने में चले. Anyway, so we've talked about real-time personalization, AI-powered campaign designs. Zafar Saab talked about it. I won't talk more. But the key thing is that's the parting comment I want to make. When insights start driving decisions, when you start using data to drive insights and use those insights to drive decision, marketing creates measurable wealth for you. We started, the topic was from data to wealth. So how you are able to use data to convert it into insights and take those measurable actions, that's how you make marketing make wealth for you. So thank you very much for your time and really appreciate your patience.
I really appreciate. Thank you so very much, sir, for your very informative session. Because of the short of time, we are going to skip the question answer session. And sir, please stay on the stage sir, with us. Thank you. And to present as a token of appreciation to Khuram Saab, I would request Tariq Sahab, Dr. Shahid, please come on the stage. And I would also like to request Malik Ehsan Sahab and Zaki Ijaz Sahab, please come on that stage to present the souvenir. Thank you. Thank you so very much, sir.